You stumbled in because you thought it was the warm and cozy show, serving up virtual hot cocoa. There's no pumpkin spice here, just spicy movie reactions, but I'll try to banter in such a way to entertain those warm and coziness of that late night TV infomercial that you remember. Stick around for them learning about the women on the moon. Stick around for a lost PSA from BB King. Stick around for those Sunset Limousine drivers driving more than the plot of this movie. Let's start the show.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers podcast.
Home video headlines, what's new in the world of streaming, movies, TV, and otherwise. Alright, Ben Stiller and Jessica Chastain will star and executive produce Apple TV Plus thriller series The Off Weeks, directed by Michael Showalter. Now, Showalter, he's a great director. Glad to hear he's up to some interesting projects these days. Be on the lookout for The Off Weeks with Ben Stiller and Jessica Chastain. Seth Rogen, he's going to revive The Muppet Show as a 2026 Disney Plus special streaming Sabrina Carpenter. Oh, not streaming. Starring. Yeah, it will be streaming, but it's also starring Sabrina Carpenter. I flubbed that up a little bit, but I backed it up. I retook it. You're fine. Let's move on. Alright, they're planning this as like a backdoor pilot. Hopefully we'll get a brand new Muppet show. Everybody loves the Muppets, so let's go with that one. Martin Scorsese is directing What Happens at Night, starring Leo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence for Apple and Studio Canal. Interesting. The plot, from what I understand, is a ghost story, which is kind of weird. That's a departure for Scorsese. Has he done anything supernatural? I mean, he did a religious movie. You can consider that one supernatural. He's done a lot of gangster movies, crime stuff. So it'd be a strange departure, but, I mean, what's funny is they made a joke about him in the show called The Studio on Apple TV, where it's like, what's Scorsese's getting up there? What's his last movie going to be? Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this movie called What Happens at Night with DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. Because, I mean, he's not in his prime, or is he? Is he about to give us the best movie he's ever made? Who knows? Anyway, the general premise is interesting. I want to see DiCaprio with Lawrence in the same movie. I don't think, have they ever been in a movie together? I'm not sure. But it'll be interesting to see those two egos go at each other in a plot. All right. Kit Harington will star in MGM Plus's and BBC's four-part adaptation of A Tale of Two Cities. It's going to premiere next year. I mean, we don't want this. What we want is more Jon Snow, right? Unfortunately, it's like Kit's locked into this one character thing that everybody expects him to do. Like most audiences, they're not simply interested in more of this other thing. We want more of Jon Snow, right? It's like being Superman and Chris Reeves trying to do something else and be like, hey, I can do these other things. Here's my other movies. Kit Harington, you're boxed in, guy. I'm sorry. We still want the other Jon Snow show, Jon Snow miniseries, or Jon Snow movie. That's just the way it is. And we'll be happy with that. You want to play Jon Snow forever? Come on, guy. I don't know. He's tired of it. He's tired of freezing his balls off there in Iceland, Greenland, Ireland, wherever the hell he was, fighting zombies. I guess he's done with all that. Interacting with CGI characters that aren't really there. Who knows? Wall freezing. All right. The movie of the week. It's a spoof of low-budget 1950s science fiction movies, intercut with various comedy sketches and fake commercials making fun of late-night television. In a movie called Amazon Women on the Moon. Let's jump right into the titillating trivia. The Penthouse video segment was filmed twice. It's got Monica Gabrielle. She was totally naked for the theatrical video cassette and DVD versions, but wore lingerie in the television version. Michelle Pfeiffer and Peter Horton, they played the couple in the hospital sketch. They were actually married in real life at the time the movie was made. That's something even I didn't know. But why would I? I'm not participating in their marriage. Then there's 3 segments that were deleted from the theatrical release. They would have been restored in the TV versions and included on the DVD's deleted scenes. It's the Peter Pan Theater sketch, The Unknown Soldier, and the French ventriloquist dummy. 3 of my least favorite sketches in the movie, which is kind of funny that they were the ones cut because of, anyway. The names in the Titan Man sketch, George Bailey, Violet, and Mr. Gower, those are taken from It's a Wonderful Life. This was shot in 1985, but not released theatrically until 87. According to the 80s Movie Rewind website, it was completed in 86, but not released in theaters for another year because it might have had something to do with the fact that John Landis was involved and he was, tied up in a court case related to the accident that happened on Twilight Zone, the movie from 83. That's a disaster. I'm not even going to go into it on this one because I don't want to bring the whole room down. I've talked about it before on this show. Look it up. Do the research yourself. You'll find out why maybe releasing a movie involved with John Landis at the time was not a good idea because of this other thing going on. Yeah. All right. When asked by IMDb what credit he would like to have removed, Bryan Cranston named this title. Bryan Cranston's in this movie for like 10 seconds. He plays an EMT that shrugs his shoulders and he's off the screen in like 3 or 4 seconds. So why it bothers him that this is in his list of credits anyway, doesn't matter. He's not even a bit player. He doesn't really say anything. He's there and he's gone. Who cares? It's one of his first acting jobs. Good. Did you get paid? I hope so. All right. The movie within a movie segment, Amazon Women on the Moon. It's a parody of a movie called Cat Women of the Moon. The costumes in Amazon Women on the Moon, these segments, they're reused from a movie called Queen of Outer Space from 58, actually. Both the men's and women's costumes were reused. The costumes are also used in the 56 classic Forbidden Planet. If it looks familiar, that's why. You've seen it in a few science fiction movies already, and now they're putting it into the comedy about the science fiction movies that you've already seen the costumes in. Yeah, I'm kind of rushing. I'll try to slow down. I don't know. I got a lot going on. I'm trying to cram the show in with all the stuff that's going on. All right. In this segment, Video Date, as Ray seats himself in his easy chair to watch the video, there's a copy of Jimmy Olsen comics on the table next to the chair. Now, it's Mark McClure. He played Jimmy Olsen in Superman 78 and 3 of the sequels, as well as Supergirl 84, and the comic that happens to fall out in the background or the side table is Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 98, which was dated December 1966. And, of course, Mark McClure is playing Ray in this Video Date sketch. So there you go. That's the tie-in. Then the Nessie head used for Jack the Ripper in the Bullshit or Not segment was originally used for the monster in the Loch Ness Horror 82. I remember this Nessie head. So I don't know if I've seen this movie before. I don't think I have. I was going in as like a first time watch, but I recognize the Nessie head. So I'm wondering, have I seen the Loch Ness Monster movie that they've used the prosthetic in? And is that why I recognized it in this movie? There's a funny sketch in here. One of the funniest sketches is they're alluding to that the Loch Ness Monster learned to walk on land and dressed up as Jack the Ripper and killed all them girls. It's one of the funniest sketches in this anthology of sketch movie. We'll get to it. We'll get back to that. All right. The film was originally intended to be a direct sequel to Kentucky Fried Movie, and they planned to call it Kentucky Fried Sequel. However, John Landis and Universal could not get the rights from the original distributors of the film to agree to a new deal. This film was more of an homage to that film. Kentucky Fried Movie was a spoof of cinema, while this one is a spoof of television. Joe Dante's favorite part of making the film was the Roast Your Loved One segment, because the legendary comedians composed in the segment that included Slappy White, Henry Youngman, Rip Taylor, Steve Allen, and Jackie Vernon. He stated he had to cut out Vernon's performance mostly because it was a slow burn, deadpan joke then slide, deadpan joke slide, and then, it took too long for the jokes, especially since the film was edited at like a lighter, lightning pace. They wanted to increase the pace or whatever. Jackie Vernon's funny though, man. And basically, the Roast Your Life is basically a guy dies. He's in another sketch. We'll come. I'll back up to that one later too. He dies, and then they're roasting this regular dude by a panel of comedians, like on the Roasted Comedians show that they always did, right? Like the Dean Martin roast or whatever. All right, we'll be back to our favorite bits from the Amazon Women on the Moon right after these messages. Tonight's messages. The hit Paramount Plus original series Tulsa King is back. In the new season, Dwight, played by Sylvester Stallone, his empire is expanding, and so does the appearance of his enemies. They're coming out of the woodworks, and it risks his crew. Now he faces the most dangerous adversaries in Tulsa yet, the Dunmires, a powerful old money family that doesn't play by old world rules, forcing Dwight to fight for everything he's built and protect his family. The new season of Tulsa King is now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Watch now. We got an affiliate link. Grab that link and stream Tulsa King with Sly Stallone as a mob boss. Can you believe it? I guess people can. This is the 3rd season. Anyway, take a look at that. Grab the link. It's in the show notes. It's on my link tree. Wherever else I got my links, you'll find them. All right, back to our favorite bits from the show, already in progress. I actually love the title card. It says starring a lot of actors. Everything breaks in the Arsenio Hall apartment sketch, and there's like a human silhouette pushed out of the broken bookcase. Otherwise, The sketch is awful. It's like a bad way to start the movie. This was made when Playboy Playmates were a cultural phenomenon, and they made this commentary here how like they're always exposed and they're all of that, but then she finds a place to disappear to in like Laguna Beach or whatever. Even though she's still naked, she's not getting noticed and kind of blends in with everybody. That's the joke. The Michelle Pfeiffer sketch is actually pretty disturbing. The hospital loses their baby, and the couple is like, "What's going on?" And then the doctor tries to replace it with a series of objects. So if you think about the premise and not the delivery, it can be considered kind of horrifying. All right, the hair looming commercial is great and has Joey Pants. The commercial literally has bald men being sold rugs for hair. That's pretty interesting. It's funny. It's one of the best gags in the whole movie. All right. BB King shows up, the blues legend. He shows up in a PSA for Brothers Without Soul. It does get political, so you'll have to watch it yourselves. I'm not going to tell you too much about it, but that's one of the best sketches in the movie. BB King doing a commercial for Brothers Without Soul. All right. There's a dating credit score sketch where Steve Guttenberg and Rosanna Arquette are trying to determine if they're going to go out on a date. It's not that far-fetched with all the dating apps and stuff now, so, I mean, it's kind of also great, too. It's pretty realistic. She's, like, running his credit, everything to see if he's worthy of dating. Anyway. And then it has, like, his dating history. It's funny. Take a look at that one. All right. The BS show in which the Loch Ness Monster is Jack the Ripper. That to me is the most wild, but also like the best sketch in the whole movie. It's funny. That actually, there were a couple moments where I laughed out loud on the BB King sketch, the Steve Guttenberg, and then the Loch Ness. I laughed pretty hard on that one. So there you go. Oh, then there's like an incredible Andrew Dice Clay cameo out of nowhere. And then the last thing I like is there's movie critics doing reviews of an average person's life. Right? They're not critiquing movies; they start critiquing a person's life. And it leads into one of the other sketches. Like I already mentioned, there's a funeral that we have like a comedian's doing a roast, and it's that guy. He dies in the other sketch where his life is being reviewed by movie critics, and then, it leads into the comedy roast with the comedians. All right. Ratings, binge now, binge later, binge never. Watch it now, get around to it, put it on the list, but you don't got to watch it away, or binge never. You can't get your life back. You've wasted 2 hours every time. You can't get it back. Stay away from this movie. Where does it land? A lot of modern movies do like TikTok pacing. This movie has what I call attention pacing. That's to say, it sets a pace to pay attention to, like older movies did, and then you can like retain your attention span if you watch it a few times or watch like a few of these older movies back to back. You're gonna get your attention span back. Anyway, binge now, binge later, binge never. It's a binge later, and here's why. The opening is too weak to capture a lot of attention. And if the movie was really just Amazon Women on the Moon and a spoof of sci-fi stuff from the 50s and 60s, we'd be enthralled by that. Again, there are some funny sketches, but overall, it's not worth the time. Fan service, if the fans are chiming in, what's going on with them? When I work for corporate clients or I've held some marketing roles in the past, I advise them to practice a thing called no comment comments, which means to say, don't reply to comments, because it will fuel all the ludicrous or negative comments coming through like your social media channels or YouTube, wherever you're posting content, right? Recently I had to acknowledge some odd behavior from someone, and then I think like another fan thinks it's about he, she, or them, which in turn is fueling their comments. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to be in a comment loop, so I better follow my own like words of wisdom here, working wisdom, and just, no comment. All right. Staff picks. If you don't like the movie of the week, what else can I recommend to you to tune into? I came across a movie called Sunset Limousines. Anybody seen this one with John Ritter? I discovered this one by accident, and then I tuned in. I like the Primal Therapy scream, and I meant to say I like the Primal Therapy scene, but I said scream because Primal Therapy involves screams, but it takes place in the back of a limo from one of the clients. It's kind of funny to have somebody be screaming at the top of their lungs inside of an enclosed space like the limo. That's the gag in the movie. But I've been talking about Primal Therapy for a long time, so I was kind of really jazzed up that I saw this in the movie. The concept, it's a good joke because you shouldn't really be screaming in the back of a limousine. Again, enclosed space, tight space, it's obnoxious. But look up what Primal Therapy is. It's interesting. It's a good topic anyway. But this is not the Primal Therapy podcast, so we're just going to keep cruising right along. I did enjoy seeing Susan Dey outside of LA Law. The main character is actually trying to win her back in the movie. It takes a while for the plot to introduce that John Ritter's character is a struggling comedian. I feel like they should have got to that sooner, but they don't. He gets assigned to drive his old girlfriend and her date around, so he sabotages the date. That's a good setup, a good payoff. And then throughout the movie, Martin Short plays a passenger involved in a shady deal. Turns out to be rare stamps. Like he's trying to sell his family's rare stamp collection or something like that. And some unsavory characters show up and they're chasing him around. Do you think it's like a big money deal, like a crime deal? No, it's about rare stamps that might be worth some money. All right, the limo driver has a good idea. He has to hide them and mail them to himself, which in the context of this movie is pretty clever. And then if you like John Ritter and you want another movie in which he plays a wholesome charmer in a caper, here you go. You know, maybe I kind of rushed through this one just like last week, but I got a lot going on. I'm trying to stay busy. I'm trying to bang out these shows for you. We're sliding into freaking Halloween season here, okay? Right? People are thinking about pumpkin spice. People are thinking about what are they going to do for Halloween? What are their Halloween plans? Some people are getting married during the scary season, and I'm like, are you doing like a Casper-themed wedding? Like, what's going on? Like, are you going to wear a black wedding dress? What's up? Spider webs as table decorations? That's a cool wedding. Are people going to show up in costumes and win a costume contest? That's a hell of a wedding at a hellish time. It's Halloween season. It's a monster mash type of wedding. Anyway, that's the season of the year we're at. People are getting flus, colds. Who knows what's going on? Even me, I got swollen lymph nodes. Let's look into that. Let's see what's going on in real life. Like I said, I'm busy. I'm going to go to this rotating sushi restaurant tomorrow. I'm going to see what they're doing. I'm inspired by their philosophy. I'm going to see if they want me to wash dishes while I'm making shows. I don't know. I'm actually just stalling for time because I want to stretch this episode. So I'm telling you everything that's on my mind as I crank up this week. We were trying to do a couple weird movies, right? It's Weird September. We're running out of time, though, because we started a little bit late this month. So we're going to switch into the Halloween season, which means I got to go and pick out a bunch of scary movies or some kind of Halloween thing. Usually by the time we get to Halloween, every time on the show, we've done so many shows throughout the year. We've done weird stuff already. We've done monster movies already. We do the Summer Slash, which is already horror movies. So we're kind of running on steam, or like the gas tank's almost over. By the time we get to like October, we're really anticipating getting into like feel good movies, and we plan that hella stylish. And then we get into stocking stuffers for the end of the holiday season, and then people are busy with real holidays. How many people are paying attention to the show at that point anyway? I don't know, but it's like the weird movies. Yeah, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I found like kind of these kooky little weird movies that have some kind of like, I don't really like it. Okay, I should back up. This week's movie, I don't really like anthology movies. I think they're really showcases of short films, but I mean, it's like I'd rather it be advertised that way. Like here's a volume of short films or an Anubis of short films for your selection, rather than the anthology movie, which really isn't tied together by anything. This one is lucky. It's like if you were watching a TV channel in the middle of the night, you might see all these commercials and you might see these programs interlaced with each other. So it kind of follows like a TV show broadcasting pattern. But for the most part, I don't really like anthology movies. Okay, I rather have consistent stories, right? So, but again, I ran these like little weird movies that I thought were interesting. We got one more, and then we're moving on to, like I said, Halloween season stuff. And you know what? It's gonna be super interesting because I'll let you know a little secret. Usually, the entire year is planned. I mean, I have the feel good movies planned. I have the stocking stuffer lineup planned. The Halloween season stuff, it's gonna be like I don't really feel pressure, right? Because I talk about horror movies all year. It's one of our bread and butter categories on here. But I am thinking like, what can I really jazz up October offerings with, and what do I even call that? I don't know. But I promise you it's going to be fun. Stick around. You don't have to go home. It's closing time like the song says. You can't stay here. Go make some hot cocoa. And think about Halloween. One more weird September movie, and then Halloween season is here. Let's go.